Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we are going to have a look at two tanks in particular in the shop. These two tanks are for sale, but you might not be able to get them, and I'll explain why, like I've explained previously, and this really annoys me. So KV220. Now, this tank is for sale for just £5. Yes, £5. You also, on top of that, you're getting 14 days of premium as well. So a really, really good buy. But unfortunately, like every other time this tank has been for sale, it is only on EU server. Now, I have questioned Wargaming as to why this tank does not come on Asia, or it does not come on the NA server. I have no freaking idea why, and it's annoying that Wargaming won't even tell me why it doesn't come on the NA server. Now, as I believe, this tank has never been for sale on these servers. The only way you was able to get this tank is years ago, Skate Extreme, a good friend of mine, he'd done a charity stream where he got like 15 of these or something like that, or 20, something, I can't remember exactly how many, to give away. And of course, some people from the NA server won that, so they got given the tank. And they are the lucky ones because they now have an extremely rare tank on the NA server. But on EU, this tank is not so rare anymore because they always bring it back for sale now. Now, there was a time this was never for sale. To own this tank, I only ever owned this tank on my press account. And it was one of the rarest tanks in the game, like the Kennyotsu. This was such a rare tank. Now, this tank and the other tank that we're about to look at, these are pretty much the oldest tanks in the game. And the reason why they were never sold, because they are beta test tanks. So people that was on the beta test were pretty much given these tanks. So of course, when these tanks started to come for sale, those that still played the game from beta test was fairly annoyed because, you know, they got these tanks that no one else has got, all because they were in on the beta server, etc, etc. So Wargaming then started to sell the tanks. Obviously it upset them, but it is what it is. And this tank now has been sold a number of times. I got this tank the first time it was sold. Back then, this was literally one of the most OP tanks in the game. The armor profile on this thing was insane. It's pretty much a KV1, stock KV1, which the gun is absolutely poor, but the armor profile was pretty much a KV3 armor profile. It was pretty much a KV3 hull. So no one knew how to deal with you. People would come around you, they would try and circle you, and they would still bounce you. Nowadays, the armor profile is not so great. People know how to deal with you, and to get the bounces, you've more or less got to go sideways. Like, if they get your front, then you're not really going to bounce anything. And the thing is, with that, you hardly ever see tier 4, which is more annoying. In tier 4, the tank is still OP, but tier 6s and tier 5s can easily deal with it. The art of playing that tank is side scrape, but over side scrape, literally over angle. The best thing about that tank is the sides and the rear is also very, very strong. Now, the next tank on the list is the Hydra, the Panzer IV Hydra. Now, what I don't understand is this is now on for sale on Asia and it's for sale on NA. It's not for sale on EU because EU has the KV220. Now, the thing is, this tank has been sold on EU because I bought it. I bought this tank when it was sold, and I've actually got a friend who owns this tank from the beta server, Eggy, who used to be in Phoenix. He went into Legion, and I believe he got this tank from the beta server, and he was one of those that was quite pissed off at the time because people were now buying this tank for very, very cheap. It's like £8 or £10, something like that, for the tank. Yes, I know it's a tier 5, but it was an extremely rare tank. So for £10 for an extremely rare tank was nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, I don't understand why Wargaming have sold this on EU. They're selling it on NA, they're selling it on Asia, but yet they won't sell the KV220 on Asia or NA. I honestly, if anyone is out there that knows why this this is happening, why Wargaming does this, why they don't want this tank on NA or they don't want it on Asia. Because I've fed up with asking Wargaming. I've asked them a number of times. We've now got a new contact for Wargaming CCs. I've asked him, no reply. I've asked him literally today, no reply. Maybe he will reply, I don't know, but right now he's not replying, and that is usually the case when I ask about this tank. They never answer me. They just ignore it. They just pretend that I never asked the question. So I just don't understand why Wargaming would bring these tanks in only on certain servers, or the KV, for instance, on certain servers, but yet this tank, it's been for sale on the EU. Why is it not back for sale on the EU? Why is it only for sale on NA and Asia? I just don't understand. I really, really don't understand. To be honest, right now, you're not really missing much. If you've got the KV, or if you're on NA and you're on Asia and you haven't got the KV, nowadays in Blitz, you're not really missing much. You're really not missing much. You can see the battle I just had before didn't really do anything, and that's the thing. The gun is awful. In tier 6 you struggle to pen pretty much everything, and no one struggles to penetrate you. The same as this tank here. Again, it's nothing special. It's not that great. It's got no armor. It could be easily penetrated, but it's a rare tank to some. So let me know if you know the reason why they never get sold, or the KV never gets sold. So for now, hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye. With